Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I am an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. In the ever-twisting world of the Bold and the Beautiful, the spotlight turns once again to a glittering object of desire, the hope for the future diamond, a gem now wrapped in ambition, pressure, and quiet suspicion. Bill Spencer, never one to leave opportunity untouched, calls his son Wyatt Spencer back into the orbit of high-stakes Spencer family business, setting in motion a mission that carries far more weight than it first appears. With a sharp focus and calculated intent, Bill pushes Wyatt to track down the elusive diamond, believing it can be the perfect spark to reignite attention and excitement around Hope Logan Spencer's new fashion line. In Bill's mind, this isn't just about jewelry, it's about influence, publicity, and power wrapped in something that catches the light. Wyatt, caught between loyalty to his father and the complexity of the task, finds himself pulled into a pursuit that quickly proves more complicated than expected. Every step forward feels like a gamble, and every lead seems to slip just out of reach. Yet Bill's pressure never eases, and the expectation becomes clear: deliver the diamond or risk disappointing the man who rarely accepts failure. The situation becomes even more tangled when Wyatt previously presents what appears to be the hope for the future diamond to Liam Spencer, momentarily convincing him of its authenticity. For a brief, shining instant, even Liam is impressed, drawn into the belief that the legendary gem has finally been secured. But that illusion collapses quickly when Wyatt reveals the truth. It was only a carefully crafted replica, a convincing fake meant to mirror the real stone. Liam, though caught off guard, admits he was fooled for a moment, acknowledging just how convincing the imitation was. Still, the revelation deepens the uncertainty surrounding Wyatt's mission, especially as his search for the genuine diamond continues to stall. Time passes with mounting frustration until suddenly Wyatt appears to shift the narrative, claiming he has finally pulled the right strings and located the real jewel. The timing feels almost too perfect, especially as Bill extends a new offer of support for Wyatt and Shauna Fulton's jewelry venture, but only under one condition: that Wyatt delivers on the diamond. With anticipation building, Wyatt prepares to meet that demand, stepping forward as if he has finally secured the very object that has driven so much tension. When the moment arrives, Wyatt stands before Bill with confidence that seems newly sharpened, presenting what he claims is the long-sought hope for the future diamond. There's even a flash of pride in his demeanor, as he subtly boasts about the connections and influence that supposedly allowed him to accomplish what others could not. For Bill, this moment feels like validation, a payoff for his relentless push, while Wyatt appears to bask in the success of his supposed triumph. Yet beneath the surface of celebration, uncertainty quietly spreads among viewers who have followed every twist of this storyline. On social media, doubts begin to surface. Was the discovery too convenient, too neatly timed to be entirely real? Some even speculate whether Wyatt has slipped another replica past Bill, using illusion as a strategy to secure favor and momentum for Hope's upcoming event. Others point toward Shauna Fulton's involvement, suggesting she may be fully aware of the plan, especially given her strong desire to secure a Logan family business connection. Still, there remains the lingering possibility that Wyatt truly managed to obtain the real diamond after all, even as the Spencer family's history of cunning and manipulation keeps suspicion alive. Whatever the truth may be, Wyatt's role within the Logan orbit suddenly becomes more significant than ever, setting the stage for a new chapter filled with uncertainty, ambition, and the ever-present question of who is really being outplayed. As whispers of doubt continue to ripple through the fan base, the atmosphere around the Spencer and Logan circle grows heavier, as if the diamond itself carries an invisible weight beyond its sparkle. Wyatt, meanwhile, remains composed on the surface, but beneath that calm exterior, there's a subtle tension in the way he carries himself, as though every word he speaks is carefully measured against a truth that may not fully hold. Bill Spencer, satisfied for the moment, begins to lean into the success of the situation, already envisioning how the diamond will amplify hope for the future's upcoming spotlight and restore the kind of attention he knows how to weaponize. Yet Bill's confidence, as always, feels less like peace and more like a pause before another strategic move, because in his world, every victory is just a stepping stone to something bigger. Wyatt's interactions with Shauna Fulton also begin to feel more layered, as though unspoken coordination might be shaping events behind the scenes, even if nothing is openly admitted. Shauna's ambitions for securing a stronger foothold within the Logan fashion sphere add another unpredictable layer to the situation, making it increasingly difficult to separate genuine success from carefully constructed illusion. And as these threads tighten together, the sense grows that the diamond is no longer just a jewel, it is a trigger point for something far more volatile. As the day of Hope's major fashion event draws closer, the pressure quietly intensifies, spreading through every interaction like a slow-building storm. Liam Spencer, still unsettled by the earlier replica incident, begins to watch Wyatt more closely, noticing the subtle inconsistencies in his confidence and delivery. Nothing overt is said, but the history between them makes Liam's suspicion feel inevitable, as though he is reading between lines that others are ignoring. Wyatt, sensing the shift, becomes even more careful, balancing charm and certainty in a way that keeps questions from forming too quickly in others' minds. Bill, however, remains focused on the outcome, already picturing the publicity storm and the renewed energy around Hope's brand, unconcerned with the emotional undercurrents swirling beneath the surface. Yet even he is not immune to the possibility that something could go wrong, and that faint awareness lingers behind his ambition like a shadow. As tensions converge, the question of authenticity begins to loom larger than the diamond itself, because in a world built on image, perception may matter just as much as truth. And with everything inching toward a high-profile unveiling, the stage is set for a moment where one revelation could change everything, exposing either Wyatt's clever success or a deception powerful enough to shake every alliance involved. As the anticipation builds toward the Hope for the Future showcase, the entire atmosphere begins to feel charged with a quiet, almost suffocating tension, as though everyone involved is unknowingly walking toward a moment that cannot be reversed. The diamond, whether real or replica, has now become the silent center of every plan, every conversation, and every carefully hidden doubt. Wyatt continues to maintain his composed exterior, moving through each interaction with controlled confidence, yet there are fleeting moments where his guard seems to tighten, especially when the topic edges too close to the diamond's origin. Bill, satisfied with what he believes he has secured, starts weaving the gem into his broader vision, already thinking beyond the event itself and toward the influence it could generate for both Hope's line and his own business reach. But even in his satisfaction, there's an instinctive awareness that perfection is rare in his world, and that makes him watchful in his own way. Shauna's presence in the background adds another layer of ambiguity, her ambitions quietly aligning with the unfolding situation in ways that are never fully spoken aloud, but strongly implied through timing and intent. The result is an environment where trust feels fragile, and every success carries the faint scent of potential collapse. As the event finally begins to take shape, subtle cracks in confidence start to surface in unexpected ways, especially in the reactions of those closest to the situation. Liam's unease grows more persistent, not loud or confrontational, but steady and analytical, as though he is assembling pieces of a puzzle that refuses to form a clear picture. He watches Wyatt with a kind of restrained concern, noticing how easily the story of the diamond seems to settle into place, despite how difficult it was supposed to be to obtain. That inconsistency lingers in his mind, refusing to fade, especially given Wyatt's earlier presentation of the replica that fooled him only briefly before being exposed. Meanwhile, Wyatt continues to navigate conversations with careful precision, ensuring that no unnecessary attention is drawn to the details of how the diamond was found. Each interaction becomes a balancing act between reassurance and concealment, whether intentional or simply instinctive under pressure. Bill, on the other hand, moves forward with growing certainty, interpreting the lack of visible resistance as confirmation that everything is exactly as it should be. Yet beneath all of it, the unspoken question remains suspended in the air. When the diamond is finally revealed under the bright lights of Hope's stage, will it shine as a symbol of success or fracture everything in an instant? As the moment of the grand reveal draws nearer, the energy surrounding the Hope for the Future showcase begins to tighten into something almost electric, as if the entire fashion event is holding its breath without realizing it. The diamond, now locked into place within Bill's vision of a flawless promotional spectacle, feels less like a simple gemstone and more like a pressure point where ambition, trust, and deception all converge. Wyatt continues to move through the preparations with a practiced ease, greeting conversations with calm assurance, yet there is an almost imperceptible weight behind his demeanor, as though every smile is carefully constructed to prevent the slightest crack from forming. Bill, fully invested in the success of the moment, begins to project confidence outward, treating the situation as a guaranteed triumph that will elevate both Hope's brand and his own influence in the business world. Still, even in his certainty, there is a subtle edge of vigilance, the kind that comes from a lifetime of knowing that control is never absolute, especially when so many moving parts depend on trust. Shauna remains in the background of this unfolding storm, her ambitions quietly woven into the fabric of the situation, her presence adding an unspoken layer of complexity that no one fully acknowledges but everyone seems to feel. And as these hidden tensions continue to build, the sense of inevitability grows stronger, as though the event is no longer just a celebration, but the stage for a truth waiting to break free. Inside the circle of those closest to the diamond, suspicion and curiosity continue to simmer just beneath the surface, never fully erupting but never truly disappearing either. Liam, in particular, finds himself unable to dismiss the inconsistencies that have followed Wyatt's journey, each detail stacking in his mind like evidence that refuses to form a clear conclusion. He observes Wyatt's interactions more closely than before, noticing how effortlessly he redirects attention away from the diamond's origin, as if steering conversations along a carefully rehearsed path. That subtle evasiveness only deepens Liam's unease, reminding him of the earlier moment when he was convinced by the replica, only to have that certainty pulled away from him in an instant. Wyatt, meanwhile, continues to maintain his composure under increasing scrutiny, adjusting his tone, his timing, and even his body language in ways that keep the growing tension from spilling into the open. Bill remains largely focused on the success he believes is already within reach, envisioning the diamond as the centerpiece of a powerful marketing moment that will reinforce his strategic control over multiple fronts. Yet even as confidence dominates the surface, the undercurrent of doubt never fully disappears, leaving the entire situation suspended in a fragile balance. And as the lights of the fashion event prepare to rise and the final reveal inches closer, the question becomes unavoidable. When the diamond is finally exposed to the world, will it confirm a calculated success or expose a deception that could unravel everything in an instant?